Hello, YouTube fans. This is TheSkullKlown here to talk about review-ish, spoiler-ish of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Now, again, there are some spoilers, so if you haven't watched the movie at all, don't watch this video. Alright? So, without further ado, let's get started. This movie is basically about, I want to say this before I get started though. I haven't really watched a Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger series at all. Maybe I have, I just don't remember it at all. For kind of like every time people mention it and I see episodes of it, I'm just like, I don't remember at all. Maybe I have watched it when I was a little kid. Maybe when they showed it reruns on during the 90s, until I started remembering shit, But, I know Chip and Dale from other things, Kingdom Hearts is one of them. I know them for other shorts, and they've also messed with Donald Duck plenty of times, and I love those shorts with Donald Duck messing, while Chip and Dale is fucking with Donald and shit like that. I have watched those shorts. I don't know if I watched all of them, but I watched some of them. Those are great and everything like that. So basically, the stories here is that Chip and Dale are coming back because one of their friends got kidnapped, and you think it's one of their friends from the Rescue Rangers, but it's not. It's just, well, actually it is. People think it's the female mouse, but it's not. It's one of their friends that is also a mouse. I don't know how the fan base would feel when, the whole mouse, I've seen Rule 34 of all of that chick and shit like that. So I can imagine how people would feel with that character being with an insect. But you mean to tell me that insect fucked that mouse and had mouse fly babies? Is he a fly? Is he? I don't know. But anyways, that's what happened, and I can literally see the fan base being like, no, she's supposed to be with Chip or Dale. This is, sacrilege. I don't know. Again, I haven't watched the show, so I don't know if they even did have a relationship or a little weak love interest. But moving on. Chip and Dale break up, basically, mainly because Dale wants to not be number 2 anymore. And Chip is like, what the fuck, basically, and he's all miserable and everything, and so is Dale, but Dale's more chippy, basically. He still remembers the fallen days and all that. He just doesn't want to be number 2. That's really it. For kind of loud, when you talk about Chip and Dale, the first thing you say is Chip. The black nose, Chip, So, obviously, it's cool how they got their names and everything, the Indiana Jones look and the, what is it, what was that called? Miami Vice, I think it was, too. Yo, those references, when they were wearing those clothes, even when I was a kid, when I saw that, those clips from the short, from the show, I'm all like, I knew the reference, and it's great, love it. And the fact that they still pay homage to it here in the movie is great, too. Everything in this movie, this movie basically was like, hey, the Who Framed Roger Rabbit sequel we were gonna do? It was gonna be a sequel / prequel that we were gonna do, or maybe we were gonna get rid of that and do a sequel. You know what? Since people are so pissed off or PO'd that, no, don't make a prequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit or a sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's like, alright, have these motherfuckers, let these motherfuckers cry like a little bitch that they are, and let's put Roger in this movie to tell them that, yes, this was probably originally supposed to be another Roger Rabbit movie, but you know what? We have Chip and Dale. We need content on Disney Plus. Let's put Chip and Dale in there. And we're going to have a Who Framed Roger Rabbit type of scenario with this movie. And you know what? I love this movie. This movie is a fucking fever dream. It is. Me and my friend, I thought I was not going to love this movie the way I loved it. I didn't know I was going to give it a 10 out of 10. I thought I was going to give it maybe a 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, something like that. But I gave it a 10 out of 10. This movie is fucking hilarious. It's fucking funny. The animation is fucking amazing, And then the villains, I don't want to talk about much of the villains, but it's funny. Well, at least it is funny that Gumby Gordon is just like hilariously fucking awesome because it's like, you don't have to do this. It's like, yeah, I can. And I'm like, thank you. Stop having generic villains that are like, oh, I don't have to do this shit. Or, like, how sometimes they do that? But in this one, they do it perfectly because it's like, yeah, we have a villain. We don't need it, but we're going to put it anyways because it's a Saturday morning cartoon movie. So no shit, we're going to have one like that, I never did understand or overstand why people hated that type of concept. I'm like, guys, it's a Saturday morning cartoon. It's a monster type of a week type thing. If you don't like that, then don't watch the Powerpuff Girls. Don't watch Godzilla. Or don't watch any of the Looney Tunes shorts. Literally. Because some of those Looney Tunes shorts are basically like, hey, what can we do this week? Can we do something racist? Oh, we can get away with it. Oh. And this is coming from an Afro person. I literally I don't want people to think that when I talk about the Sensor 11, when I talk about this and everything like that, I don't want, I made another cover of it. This one for the DVD and this one for the flash drive. But I don't want people to think that, oh, you try to normalize racism. And I'm just like, no, I'm pointing these shorts out for my people to be like, hey, some of these shorts are not as offensive as you thought it was. Do these still have offensive stuff in it? Fuck yeah, they do. But at the same time, can you take off that mindset and not be offended like a little bitch of everything? Because that's how everyone is nowadays. You want to get offended for kind of loud. Like, people can get offended with Bugs Bunny going like this to fucking Yosemite Sam. I'm sure there's fucking people out there that get offended of that shit. I'm talking stupid shit like that, man. Stupid shit like that. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm not a people person, man. It's like people want to talk crap of some of the stuff that I know in here, basically, and then people act like, oh, I know who you are. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't know nothing about me. You don't even live with me. I don't even know you. So how will you think that you know me? You don't fuck. Shit like that. So the references in this movie is fucking phenomenal. Like there's a reference to Sonic. There's a reference to Ugly Sonic, and he's like the main character in this movie. I'm like, oh, like I remember Chip and Dale was just looking at his upper lip, like, and then he bites his tongue because he doesn't have an upper lip. Yo, me and my friend just kept dying our fucking ass off. And you knew that once Disney saw the original design of Ugly Sonic, they were like, let's use that design, put it in our movie, and tell people how fucking disgusting that shit is. Because Disney put it. They were like, yeah, if they didn't tell you that the original design for Sonic was shit, they never would have had him in the movie, and they never would have called him Ugly Sonic, and they never would have had Chip and Dale look at him and be like, and they never would have made fun of him at the end of the movie and shit. And there's Peter Pan in this movie. Peter Pan is in this movie. I thought it would be, some guy that's dressed as Peter Pan, but no, Peter Pan is in this movie. When my friend saw Peter Pan, he's like, oh God, that's sad, and then there's something else when, little creepy, it sounds like a little creepy pedo thing that a pedophile will say, and then when I watched the movie the second time and I heard it, I told my friend, I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, dude, that shit's creepy as fuck, and I'm like, oh, he is Peter Pan, so it's fuck, it is, they did not stop with the whole, like, hey, these type of things where Peter Pan and other, shorts of cartoons, well, we're going to breathe them out, wink at them. We're not going to specifically tell you what it is, but we're going to wink at it and be like, yeah, if you're an adult, you will get this, like that. And he's the main villain. Peter Pan and also the Coca-Cola Bear and this guy, freaking, what's his, Seth Rogen. You have this, like, medieval guy, Seth Rogen, and then you have these other Seth Rogen characters looking at Seth Rogen. You have fucking Pumbaa. You have that slime from Monsters vs. Aliens, which is a highly underrated movie. Really highly underrated. The fact that people talk shit about that movie, I'm like, really? You're gonna talk shit about a movie called Monsters vs. Aliens? Like, at that point, you don't like to have fun, you don't like movies, and you just want to listen to critics, and critics just don't like to have fun. They don't. Critics never like to have fun. They want to nitpick everything, and they may make everything big. For example, a Nostalgia Critic pointed out in his Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness, well, with the Spider-Man one, the Spider-Man Homecoming and stuff like that. Well, No Way Home. That one. When Doctor Strange pushes Peter, he's in an astrogram type of thing, and Doctor Strange trying to grab the square box basically, and Peter's like going like this because of his Spidey sense. Literally, Doug, Nostalgia Critic, is all like, people say it's a Spidey sense, but I don't know, that's a little bit of a stretch. I'm like, stretch? Are you dumb? Are you fucking dumb? Me and my friend literally screamed up the scream saying, my friend literally told me saying, yeah, you see people like Doug, and I'm like, yeah, I know. People found out that Doug doesn't do certain things and is behind the times, and so is James Ralph. He doesn't know how to fucking set up a fucking goddamn camera anymore. The fuck? That's another story for another day, but I had to point that shit out in this video. I'm just like, what the fuck? That's why I never take critics' reviews or views on animation or movies seriously, or even games. Like, to me, I'm all like, are you an animator? No? Then fuck you. Are you a gamer? No? Then fuck you. Even if you're making these games, are you? No? Then fuck you. If you don't know basically the rule establish of how these things work, and you don't know about it, and you're ignorant, people are going to look at you like a dumbass, especially nowadays when you could just go on the internet and find fucking out. Literally. It's like saying, it's almost like saying, what kind of idiot says that, planting your feet on the dirt will reach enlightenment? If someone said that, I would have been like, you are part of the times I told you, hey, if you told people how you felt, you're a pussy. You live in that time, apparently. Literally, you live in that time. I'm sorry, I had to get in a tangent there because that shit was bullshit, right? And this Chip and Dale movie just tells, to me, in my opinion, this movie tells anyone that criticizes animation and movies and video games to tell them, fuck off. Just fuck off. And most people are like, isn't there a video game reference in here? There is. There's a type of character that looks like Frogger, and I think that is a video game reference. I mean, if you look at the arcade of Frogger, he's wearing a tie with a suitcase. Doesn't have the t-shirt, but he has a suitcase and a tie, a red tie, which the frog had in this movie. So I was just like, that's Frogger. I don't care what no one says. That's Frogger to me, and if anyone says no, I won't believe you. I'll say differently. You can't convince me of that. I'll say that right now. So anything else too? Again, Roger Rabbit does make an appearance. There's Roger Rabbit doing the Roger Rabbit, and you also get you know that music video where you have that sexy chick dancing, and then she's dancing with a animated cat. They're in this movie too. Yo, if you know that music video, that's way back. That's way back. I remember that fucking shit. I remember watching that video a long time ago on YouTube, and I'm like, I remember seeing this. Damn, this is old. I don't know if it came out in the 80s, and if it did, it did. But I do remember watching that video because, well, sometimes music videos just get repeated back in the day, you know? Same thing with TV shows, you know? For crying out loud, how many times they showed Thriller on TV? Like the music video of Thriller. I've seen this so many times, it's ridiculous, you know? So, and that one came out in the 80s, right? And I saw it in the 90s. So how the fuck does that happen? Because of reruns. So, the reason I point that out is because some people would never get that. And I'm just like, are you dumb? What generation you were born in? Like, if you were born now, fine, you don't get it. But if you were born in the 80s and 90s, you will get it. Especially if you're born in 2000. So, there's so many fucking references to other iconic shit. 3D animation, 2D animation. For crying out loud, Dale is 3D. He looks great. He looks fucking great. They talk shit about Alvin and the Chipmunks here. I love it. The thing is, too, I'll say this right now. I watched all the live-action Alvin and Chipmunk movies, except for the one when Alvin and Alvin has like a brother and shit like that, like in a human brother, basically. Like the Chipmunks have like stepbrother and shit. I didn't watch that one because Shipwrecked, I was done. I watched it, done. I'm like, that's it. I don't have to watch the series anymore. Mainly because the two actors that don't belong in this movie and hate themselves in this movie always bring me back to watch these terrible Alvin and Chipmunk movies because they're the highlight. The villain and the main guy that takes the Chipmunks. I keep forgetting these characters' names. Oh man. So I just like those actors. Those actors were great in those movies. They did what they had to do. I know they didn't want to be there at all. But the fact that they did, I had to support them in every step of the way. Every time I saw those movies, they'd be like, oh, I'm all like, are they in the movie? I have to watch it. If my name is in this movie, in this Alvin and Chipmunks movie, I'm watching it. You know, especially the guy that, you know, the Dave. No, that's the other guy. That was the Chipmunks. Dave. Yeah, you see, I couldn't remember it. I don't know why I couldn't remember it, but it is kind of funny that the movie not Chippendale, but we'll get to Chippendale again because since it's talking about chipmunks and they are chipmunks. Alvin and the Chipmunks, it's funny that by the end of the whole series they kind of like pay homage to like the animated series a little bit, you know, with the grandmother and then the love interest of Dan, and then also the slimy guy that was always there but really don't care about the chipmunks all that much, but he's like a family, part of the family now, you know? So it's like that. When I saw that movie, I was just like, huh. It's funny how they did that. But moving on. This movie has references to the Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers TV show, which is great. I bet some fans were like, yeah, you know? And yeah, some of that was over my head and everything like that, but it was still great to see. And I am a fan of Chip 'n Dale for crying out loud. Like I just mentioned, guys, like I grew up with these characters. I have. I might not grew up with the TV animated series, but I grew up with these characters because they were in some other Disney shorts or in video games. Like, example, Kingdom Hearts. And they were great in Kingdom Hearts. You know? And for crying out loud, there's a Kingdom Hearts reference in this movie. When Chip and Dale look at the evidence stuff with all the stuff that's been stolen from tunes and stuff like that, you see the Keyblade in front of them and Chip and Dale like right next to, one's right here, one's right there, and the Keyblade's in the middle. And then they pan it around, showing all the other ones. You have Jimmy's hair and everything like that. You have the Real Monsters, ears, then the fucking lips and shit like that with some of them. And then all of a sudden, they pan out to Sora's fucking hair from Kingdom Hearts 2, I believe. And I'm looking at it, and me and my friend literally told my friend, like, they're telling you this. They're panning to the Keyblade and Sora's hair for a fucking reason. They're telling you they're making a Kingdom Hearts movie, man. Either that, or they did it to get people's attention to see how they would react if they did had a Kingdom Hearts live action or something like that. You know? So, if they do make a Kingdom Hearts movie, make it animated, and look at the manga. Don't look at the video games, look at the manga. Look at the manga and bring that to the animated movie. Make an animated movie of Kingdom Hearts. Don't make it live action. Don't. If you all gonna make a Kingdom Hearts movie live action, Sora has to be live action, and Donald and Goofy have to be 3D CGI like you see Chip in this movie. That's the only way I could see it getting away and everything CGI. So the only person that's real is Sora, and everyone around him is CGI except for like the main characters. That's the only time I can see that shit happening. They have the budget, they can do it, but I'd rather see it animated anyways because animation is beautiful. And since now Disney's bringing back animation, which I'm happy about, now that Disney's bringing back animation, so maybe other studios will too. And I'm not talking about computer animated, baby. I'm talking about hand-drawn animation. That is what they want to bring back. All right? And I'm like, yes, bring that shit back. Because digital animation is not the same as hand-drawn. You can tell the difference. And it's not as authentic to me. To me, it's not authentic. Look at the Dragon Ball Z series now, and look at the Dragon Ball series back in the 90s and 80s. Hand drawing is a must. Look at the old Bebop and Rocksteady series. That hand-drawn animation is sexy as fuck. Okay? I'm telling, like, come on, man. Animation, hand-drawn animation is sexy. Alright? That's why I love animation. It's fucking sexy as fuck. It really is. It really fucking is, man. Literally, to me, in my opinion, animation has been sexualized because it's just that beautiful. And I'm not talking about being sexualized to make a female cartoon like Jessica Rabbit. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's legitimately just sexy and beautiful. You know? That's why, again, going back, I love animation. I fucking love animation, man. You know? And when a movie does stuff like this, I have to praise it. You know, they do different types of animation. Like I said, you know, they do 3D, 2D, Japanese, you know, comic book. They do so different types of stuff. It's fucking amazing, you know? And there's so many things happening in this movie that it's just great. And even stuff in the background is happening, and you be like, awesome. For crying out loud, there's a reference when was it Dale's walking in the street. He's like, everything's just going to shit, basically, you know. He's watching like every movie poster. You have Mr. Doubtfire, which I'm just like, don't fucking do. I literally was watching these parody fucking posters in this movie, and I was like, don't give them ideas. For crying out loud, there's Fast and Furious babies. They made a baby geniuses reference, and I'm like, stop giving them ideas. Stop it. Stop it, Disney. You give them ideas. The only best idea that you can give to Warner Brothers is Batman vs. E.T. I'll definitely watch that. I'll definitely watch that. Who doesn't want to see that? Who doesn't want to see that? And it's a canon movie in this movie. Like, you literally have Chip watching the movie, and then E.T.'s like dying on Batman's arm. E.T. fall home, and Batman's like, you know, like crying and shit. And I'm just like, I want to see that movie. I want to see it. Yo. And it's not animated. It's live action. They make that shit live action. They literally got, what is it, Ben Affleck's Batman and the original E.T. That shit was awesome. In my opinion, I think when they use the original Ben Affleck, I think that shows where they were started making this movie. But, yeah, I mean, if you told me this movie took a long time to make, like maybe 4 or 3 years, I would believe it. I would believe it. For kind of, I think there's an article that the directors literally said they couldn't believe they got away with this movie. And yes. Disney and anyone that